All right, 4:32, good Monday afternoon. Weather Impact Live, now officially in fall, or what we call here in Florida is false fall, because the average high temperature is 90 degrees. We have some spots that are warmer than that out there right now, and it's going to get warm and humid, and it's going to feel like summer for the first half of this week at least. So, yeah, fall has arrived officially here in the northern hemisphere. Let's start there. We do have some showers to talk about today. We've got some tropics to talk about. We need to dive into all that. I kind of want to do our local forecast first. We'll talk fall forecast and then tropics, and then we'll take a break and we'll show you some crazy weather around the country. All right, autumnal equinox. That's what occurred at 2:19 p.m. And you can see sunrise is about 7:19, sunset about 7:26. The equinox is generally your daylight hours are about the same as your night hours. Okay, so we're not exactly there. We're off by about 5 minutes, but you get the point. So what an equinox is basically, especially the autumnal equinox. We had the vernal one, which is in the winter or the spring, but you end up with the sun directly over top of the equator. All right, because the Earth tilts, and because it tilts, as we go around the sun every year, at times we are tilting away. But then when we come back around the other side, let me do it here, we're tilting towards, okay? If the sun's over here, we're tilting away. If it's over here, we're tilting towards. And what happens on the equinox is we're right in the middle, all right? And so the sun's rays are directly overhead at the equator. And you may think they always are overhead at the equator. It's not quite, no. There is a little bit of an angle there too, but think about the North Pole, right? They're going to start, their days will get shorter and shorter, and then the sun just doesn't come up because the Earth is tilting away from them. Now, when you do have those longer days, all right, you end up with more sunshine, obviously, for the longer daylight days, let's put it that way. You have summer months. And so what's happening is we are entering fall here in the northern hemisphere, and they are actually entering spring in the southern hemisphere, and they're on their way to summer, okay? We're on our way to winter, of course. And so that's why we have this. That's why there's an exact time, 2:19 p.m., because we know we can calculate when the Earth is, when the moon's, sun, excuse me, is going to be right over the equator on the Earth. Now, let's talk about some of our numbers, and I guess, you know what, I didn't drag the right one in here. Let's do that. I got a better one for you here. We'll replace this one. These are the average temperatures for Tampa in the fall. So September 1st, 91 degrees. In fact, through the 14th of September, all the way back to June 12th, the average high temperature is 91. That's the hottest that it is all year round. On the 15th of September, it drops down to 90, and then you can see here, by the end of the month, October 1st, it only drops to 89 degrees, okay? But you're saying there's a chance, right? We are seeing some cooling. It's sometimes noticeable. It's more dry air than anything else that helps to bring those temperatures down a little bit. But if you notice, as we get into the middle of the month of October, we're in the mid-80s, about 86 for an average high temperature. And by the end of the month, it's 82 degrees. And that's the biggest drop that we have as we go through the fall months. So it's a 7-degree drop from October 1st through the 30th. And then in November, we drop, what do we drop there? I guess it's 6 degrees. All right, so October and November, there are really good months here, right? December's great. All of it's great in the wintertime. All right, here we go. This is the meteorological fall. All right, so there's a difference from the autumnal equinox that we just started today versus meteorological fall. And we meteorologists use meteorological fall, and that's the months of September, October, and November. And because sometimes astronomical fall or autumnal equinox can occur different day, one day prior, depending on the time. And so if you're comparing average temperatures, highs and lows, you're not really comparing apples to apples when you take one year and you go to the next year, because that time's off a little bit. All right, and so we use what's called meteorological fall, and in that way we can say, hey, meteorological fall in 2025, fall was an average of 86, right? Versus 24, it was 87. Or whatever those numbers are, right? So we use it just a little bit more because of the fact that we want to crunch the numbers and we have to make it kind of fair. All right, let's talk temperatures. So the first day of fall, and we have 88 in Tampa, which is actually a little below average, 91 in Riverview, 92 in Wesley Chapel. Water temperatures right around 85 degrees. That's actually pretty close to this time of the year. It's actually maybe a degree or two cooler than normal. But look at this forecast. All right, average high for the next 10 days is just about 80, just about 90. It's almost 89 in the back end there. And you can see we're going to be really close to where we should be for this time of the year. So that's okay. We can deal with that. Now let's talk local forecasts and some rain. We do have some showers down into Highlands County and parts of DeSoto County. There's not a lot there. They're slow movers though. And so they will put down a little bit of rainfall, but they don't last very long. They're kind of popping up and falling apart. Call those pulse showers and storms. And I think that will continue for the next couple of hours. And I do think it builds westward a little bit. So even Hardee County, if you're watching there, southeastern Polk County, I think you'll have a few chances for showers there. All right, let's talk the moisture now. Watch the dark green there as we go through Tuesday afternoon. You see it starting to creep back up a little bit over top of us. This is the overall moisture in the atmosphere. That basically equals better rain chances when you get this summer, especially when that number's over 2 inches and you heat up in the afternoon, you're going to get better rain chances, okay? So rain chances go up tomorrow. We're thinking about 40%. This is Wednesday, thinking about 30%. It's not a big change Tuesday to Wednesday, but notice this here. This is a cold front. So we're going to be keeping our eye on this. Not only that, but this little slot of dry air you see in here. Watch as we go out through Thursday. Yeah, the heavier moisture stays to our south. Here comes some drier air Thursday and Friday, especially Friday. Look at that. That's going to lower rain chances quite a bit for Thursday and especially on Friday. But this is Saturday's weather. Watch this. Here comes the front across the Gulf. That's 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. That is pretty decent chance for showers and storms and even clouds because it's a legit cold front sitting out here out over the Gulf. All right, so boating plans, keep that in mind. We've got a pretty good southwest wind ahead of it. This is Sunday, so the moisture's trying to move to the south. You see this drier air working its way in. Notice we've got potentially a tropical system sitting out here east of us, not affecting us directly, but that will help to pull down some drier air as we go through Monday. And then Tuesday, finally, I think some of that dry air gets pulled in here. That's a little far out in time. We'll see if that happens. But the bottom line is fall started today, and it's going to be hot all week, and it's going to feel like summer with afternoon showers and storms coming back. That's tonight. Even as I mentioned, they're coming to the west, but even 1 or 2 can get all the way back to Pinellas and Hillsborough. This is around 10 o'clock tonight. I wouldn't cancel any plans. It's not a lot, but just to let you know there is a small chance, better chance for Manatee and Sarasota County, Hardee and DeSoto. Now, tomorrow morning, Tuesday, starts nice and dry. We will be going with showers and storms by about 1 to 1:30. I kind of think regular afternoon showers and storms, right? You see them popping up along the coast here. This is around 1:30. The sea breeze is what you're seeing there, right? Now, watch the sea breeze work its way inland. All right, very light wind, so we're going to get the sea breeze start here, work its way inland, and there it is, east of I-75, eastern Hillsborough, eastern Pasco, western Polk, eastern Manatee, eastern Sarasota County by 4:30, and then things are falling apart between 7 and 9 o'clock in the evening hours. That's a typical summertime pattern with light winds. Very similar setup on Wednesday, but we will see just a little less rain around on Wednesday, and that would be just about it. So forecast for tonight, we'll keep a very small chance, especially for the Tampa area, for any showers, but it will be warm, slowly down through the 80s. And then tomorrow, yeah, we're warm. We're back up to about 90, 92 degrees, and that rain chance goes 40% in the afternoon. There's the 7-day forecast. I will take that equinox off of there because obviously we did that today. But notice those numbers, all right? We are talking basically temperatures pretty close to average for this time of the year and nothing like fall. Well, it is our fall, right? But it's just not what you want it to be when you've lived here for a long time and you know how long and hot the summers are and you're waiting for that drier air. We're not getting that just quite yet. But I think we'll get a taste probably at the beginning of next week, as I showed you there, that front trying to come through. And the more and more that we get those tastes, the more we adjust the pattern to bring in more of that as we move through October. Now, that will be affected by the tropics. So we're going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we'll talk tropics. We've got 3 systems to let you know what we're watching for.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case,
Who would want to hurt him?
every clue,
This is dynamite for an investigator.
every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Let's talk tropics. A little busy out there, and this is what we've been expecting, right? And that's kind of how the tropics work. You go from really quiet to all of a sudden everything's popping. Not quite everything, but we have a Cat 4. All right, we have 2 systems that we're watching, and even another one that's coming off Africa that we'll keep an eye on. I think it's okay. But let's start with Hurricane Gabrielle, okay? You can see that 4 right there in the middle. That is showing you where Category 4 Hurricane Gabrielle is located. In fact, it's pretty close to Bermuda, although Bermuda is doing just fine. They get a little breeze. That is it. But look at this thing. 140 mile per hour winds. Pressure's down to 948. It's moving to the north-northeast at 12 miles per hour. Remember back in the day when we would read you the latitude and longitude? Because everybody was, do you remember when you would plot when we were handing out the hurricane trackers, and it had a map with latitude and longitude, and you would write with a pen where the center was all the time. Don't do that as much now, right? It's all done for you. But look at this. Look at this eye. This visible satellite. That is amazing. And it went through an eye wall replacement, and it's been pretty efficient with those eye wall replacements, and so that's one of the reasons why it's gotten so strong. But that is really cool. You can see the ocean down there. Right down the center of that hurricane. Now, Ragasa is a super typhoon over in the Philippines, north of the main island of the Philippines, south of Taiwan. I posted a little bit about that on my Facebook page, Bobby Deskins Weather, but that one's amazing. 180 mile per hour winds, not this one, but that super typhoon, gusts over 200 miles per hour. Just amazing. All right, here's Hurricane Gabrielle's forecast track. You can see it's Cat 4 now. Will stay that way through tonight. Then it starts to cool down a little bit of wind shear, some cooler water underneath of it, and you'll see that it's going to be falling apart. But slowly, I mean, by Thursday morning, this thing still has 85, 90 mile per hour winds as it's moving across the north central Atlantic, and then eventually it starts to make the curve. Could be affecting those folks over in southern Europe by the time we get towards the weekend, so they'll have to keep an eye on it. It's just a big storm by that particular point, ocean storm. And you can see the forecast models are in agreement with that as well. All right, now let's talk about these 2 other waves. Sometimes it gets a little confusing because they're close together here, but the orange is a 50% chance, days 3 through 7. It's only 10% next 2 days, okay? But it's this area right here. See that? And the development chance is right in here near the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas. Now, this wave here, which actually looks a little bit better, that one has an 80% chance of developing, 30% in the next 2 days, but 80%. But look where it's going. There's Gabrielle right now. This one's just going to follow behind. So the first one's going to come further west. It's weaker. That makes sense, right? Weaker wester, like I always say. This one will start to develop, but it's going to develop a little bit further to the east, and that means it has more time to recurve. So both of these systems, not organized at this particular point, not a sure bet, not 100%, but a lot of the modeling is jumping on them, especially this one here, which is good news that it's jumping on this one because that's the one that we think will follow behind Gabrielle and then start to turn out to sea. So that's the good news. Now, the one thing about Gabrielle, where she is now, this is cooling all of this water in here. All right, so whatever this turns out to be, by the time it gets up in this area here, there's going to be a lot of cooler water underneath. It's called upwelling. So you got warm water at the top, and the further you go down, it usually gets colder. But when the wind blows real hard up here, it blows that water away, and then this water kind of comes up to fill that void, and so now it's cooler. And you can see it's a shadow, basically, of where the storm went. And that's less energy for the second system. The first one doesn't have that. All right, the first one's got all warm water all the way to the Turks and Caicos, so we'll see what that wants to do. Here's the forecast model, the European, and it's not showing much through Thursday, but look what we have here. You see, that's the second one. The first one may be in here, okay? Not doing much, but there's the second one. Now let's go out in time. I'm going to advance this myself here a little bit. And you can see that yellow, that orange that popped up right there south of Bermuda, that is going to be Umberto or Imelda. Those are the two names coming up. But that's the second one, okay? So this will likely be Imelda because it'll probably be the first one to go, or Umberto because it'll be the first one to go. Now, what's here? And that's what we want to know. See that right there? Right there. Let me show you again. See that yellow off the Carolina coastline, the Georgia coastline? That's the second one. All right? This is this Sunday. Okay, so we got plenty of time to watch this. Florida, I don't think it's a big deal, especially on the West Coast here. But you can see Bermuda would need to watch this for the middle of next week. And, of course, the Carolinas. That's just the European forecast model. Watch the GFS. All right, the GFS is the yellow. Look at that. It really, I mean, the GFS is crazy stuff. But it tries to bring this thing in by Monday, a week from today, into the Carolina coastline. And it has a second one. It doesn't see it, but then the Euro has a second one coming in that direction. So right now, most of this looks to recurve. I'm not stressed about Tampa Bay at this point, and I will let you know when that is the case. But I do think we're going to have two systems, maybe, I don't think three at a time, but we could possibly have two systems kind of paralleling out there right off the East Coast. One thing is for sure, surf's up for the East Coast. Not quite as big as what Aaron was, but they will get some long period swells. It's already hit the beach here in East Florida, and it will go all the way up, obviously, the East Coast. And with a couple more storms coming, we're probably going to have some good surf over the next week or so along the East Coast. So good news for surfers. Okay, 4:50. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the local forecast one more time. Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. With players just like you.
Paramedic, retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30 right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Secure outdoor equipment and generators. Clear debris from around your AC unit and schedule a pre-storm HVAC and electrical inspection.
Those are some great tips. And Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40 today.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We have just a couple of showers here. Nothing severe is expected. Tampa itself won't even see that much at all this evening. And tomorrow it's pretty much typical afternoon showers and storms. But our rain chances down south, Highlands County, Hardee, DeSoto, I think Manatee and Sarasota County. Take a look at the satellite radar. It's nothing big out there right now. But let's take you back out to Texas 24 hours ago. And I want you to watch North Texas, northwest of Dallas. Take a look at the hail that came out of that storm. It is amazing. Yeah, you can just hear it there. I mean, the damage that hail can do. This is golf ball size hail and even larger in some instances. And a lot of times when this happens, this tends to cover the ground with ice. And you tend to see this a lot of times, especially out west, because it's like Denver, because they're closer to the freezing point, right? They're a mile high. But this happens when you get strong thunderstorms and cold air aloft, cold and dry air. And it's that time of year where we're starting to get some of that pouring down out of Canada, and some of these areas actually deal with it. Back over onto the computer now, you can take a look at the severe weather threat for today, and it is up West Virginia, Ohio. Those areas will be watching for it. But now it's shifting south out of Minnesota down into Iowa today. They're going to have a chance for it. And then across the plains, Oklahoma and Nebraska. Nothing terrible, but you get a slight risk. That's a decent risk. Tomorrow, that shifts a little bit further to the south, and you can see East Oklahoma and Arkansas, a little bit towards Dallas. And if you notice us here in Tampa, a lot of times we have this green here, but all that means is that we would get thunderstorms. I mean, we could have green here almost